Welcome, everyone, to What to Watch Live, the show where we discuss the best in TV and entertainment this week. My name is David, and today I am joined by my fellow Xfinity editors, Rose and Quam. Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello. Happy Friday.
Hey, how's everyone doing?
Can't complain.
Doing
Woke
amazing.
up today, David. You know that's my deal.
I know. On today's show, we curl up in bed for a look at the TV shows you won't want to sleep on. Quam gives us his picks for this year's Grammy Award winners, and we explore the best shows that are killing us softly with murder and hilarity. So without further ado, let's kick things off with In the News. In celebration of Disneyland Paris's 30th anniversary, designer Stella McCartney created an all-new look for iconic cartoon character Minnie Mouse, swapping her signature red and white polka dot dress for a blue and black polka dot pantsuit, and it sent certain internet and news talking heads into an absolute uproar, because how dare you let a cartoon mouse have a second outfit that she can wear? I think, honestly, you file this under it's a slow news day, and also it's not that deep. But I want to get your thoughts on this new look for Minnie Mouse and also, like, the odd outrage over it. What do you think, Rose?
I agree. Let her wear what she wants to wear. I mean, she's been wearing that smock dress thing for years. I mean, it needs to go in the laundry. She needs to wash it. Let her wash it. Come on.
Yeah, and Quam, you're our fashion guy, really. What do you think about this look for Minnie?
I honestly like the look. I think it's a nice. I'm not usually a big fan of pants and like suits, but like I'm such a fan of like this for Minnie, and I like the color, and I don't know. I am not a big. I don't really care that much. I don't understand why people are like so up in roar of this, but I think it's a nice outfit. I give it a 10 out of 10. Much better than the red polka dot dress that she's been wearing for who knows how long. So I'm a fan.
And Rose,
yeah, I
know
agree.
You're a big...
And it is a slow news day.
Yeah. And Rose, you're a big Disney fan, and you've been to the parks many, many times, as have I. And you know that Minnie wears different costumes all over the park. She just doesn't wear one costume. Depending on where she is, she wears different costumes in the parade. So what is it? Is it just
really?
just because it's a... Yeah, she wears different costumes. So, like, I think this is just a matter of people not digging, like, this androgynous look, which is just ridiculous, because who wouldn't want to be dressed by Stella McCartney? I mean, come on.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. Yeah, David, you bring up a good point. Yeah, she does change her outfits, but maybe for this, like, photo op, she needs a refresh, and I like the refresh. Put some pants on her. I think it's fine. Yeah. People are bored. I think they're just bored.
I think they could have done more with the shoes. I think the shoes really. I think the shoes could have been, touched up a little bit more.
What shoes
Sorry,
did you
Stella.
Put her in? What shoes
Stella McCartney has a lot of good shoes.
I was gonna say, why don't you tell Stella McCartney that her shoes were lacking?
I know, right? Who am I? But I thought the shoes could have been a little bit more spruced up. But outside of that, good fit.
All right. Well, next up, the Beastie Boys said it best when they proclaimed no sleep till we finish all of the episodes in a segment called Trending. As we were preparing for this week's show, Rose told us that she had been up late until the wee hours of the morning, binging a TV show she just couldn't get enough of. And yeah, we've all been there. Work and responsibilities be damned. Sometimes we just need to watch one more episode of that addictive series, no matter how tired we'll be the next day. There are literally shows we won't sleep on. So we got to thinking about the last time the three of us each stayed up late binging a series, and it wasn't all that difficult to come up with some immediate answers. I will start off first. I was lucky
Wait,
enough
before you
to get
start, I just want to say
Yeah.
that little write-up intro to this whole thing. I mean, kudos to you. That was really clever. I love the writing to this, David. Good job. I like it.
Thank you. All right. I'm hyped now. All right, my first pick. I was lucky enough to get a sneak peek at the upcoming Netflix documentary, The Tinder Swindler, which premieres next Wednesday, February 2nd. The documentary follows a group of women who found themselves charmed by a man on Tinder, a man who took them on private jets, flew them to exotic locations, bought them fancy dinners and expensive things, and claimed he was the heir to a diamond empire. But this man is not all that he seems, and that's where this documentary really hooks you. It's under 2 hours long, but I got a craving to watch it at like midnight last week, and I just had to get it out of my system. I'd been thinking about this, so I watched it, and I was just on the edge of my seat because what's crazy is like I'm not going to spoil anything, but he really does take them to do all these things. Like he does take them on jets. He does give them fancy things, takes them into exotic places. So where does the swindle come in? That's what you'll have to watch and find out. I highly recommend The Tinder Swindler if you like true crime, documentaries, or wild stories that just make your jaw drop. It premieres on February 2nd. Yeah.
I think I've heard the story before.
It was out there. Like it was covered in the news. And they actually called this guy the Tinder Swindler in the news before it became the title of this documentary. So you might have heard about it, but well worth watching. My next pick was truly one that kept me up until the early hours of the morning. And I know several of our fellow editors also became obsessed with it. Station 11 on HBO Max is a limited series based on the 2014 novel of the same name. The show is set 20 years after a global pandemic wipes out most of humanity. Hits a little too close to home. And it follows a group of survivors who travel the post-apocalyptic world performing plays for fellow survivors. The show also jumps back and forth in time, showing how these characters initially avoided the pandemic and catches up with them in present time as a cult leader threatens everything they've built. It's really hard to describe this show. It's beautiful. I mean, that's what I can say. It's beautiful, beautifully written, beautifully acted, beautifully filmed. The music and the costuming is fantastic. It's just really great storytelling. And I would love to see Mackenzie Davis and Matilda Lawler, who play young and older versions of the same character, earn Emmy nominations for their performances. There were times when I legit stayed up until 3 a.m. waiting for the new episode of Station 11 to drop on HBO Max. Because, it drops midnight on West Coast, 3 a.m. on the East Coast. I needed to know what happened. I could not wait. I stayed up till 3 a.m. and then watched the new episode because I just had to know. So
see, that's when you know it's good, when you don't sleep because you need to watch it. You need the information from that episode, or you just need to stay up till the end. That's when you know it's a good show. This endorsement, David, I feel like it was on my radar, but it could have just fallen off. But because of this endorsement from you and the way you described it, and it isn't like end of world situation. I don't know why I would not like that anyways, but no, this has now moved this on the top of my list, and maybe I won't sleep on this.
What's so good about this, and what I love about what really good post-apocalyptic movies and films do, is that they create a world that feels lived in. Like and they don't over-explain much. You just believe these characters have lived in this post-apocalyptic world. They're just doing their thing. Like things just are as they are. I don't know if that's like the best way to describe it, but it just feels lived in, and small details are really well done, and it's emotional, and you would like it as our post-apocalyptic guru. You'd be very into it.
I don't know if guru is the right term. Fearful.
Yeah.
I think it's more accurate.
So Rose, tell us what you stayed up to watch, which is what kicked off this entire conversation.
Oh my gosh. Oh, yes. I was like, I'm tired because I didn't want to sleep because I was watching Cheer. That's right. Season 2. I pulled an all-nighter. The last time I pulled an all-nighter, like literally did not sleep. because season 2 was out. I needed to see Monica address the fallen from grace breakout star that was Jerry. Gabby, who, by the way, if you don't know who Gabby is, she is an amazing athletic individual. And I feel like she is the poster child too. If you ever doubt that a cheerleader is not an athlete, you just see what the amazing things that this woman can do. Like, hands down, Lexi, Morgan, Ladarius, which, by the way, Ladarius, sweetie, bless your heart, but you did your team dirty. You're just going to have to stay up all night and find out if you don't know what I'm talking about, because hurt people, Ladarius. But regardless, the fact that they focused on Navarro, but also their rival team, which is like 45 minutes up the street, who, by the way, Navarro College lives rent-free in their heads, and for all the wrong reasons. I needed to know who came out on top in the end. That's why. And for all of these reasons, that's why I did not sleep on cheer. That's what I'm sticking to. So.
Rose,
have either of you watched the first season of Cheer?
No, but Rose, I wanted to say, I don't know if either of you are aware that I actually have a high school varsity letter in cheerleading.
Really?
It's true. I was the mascot for my high school back in the day, and it earned me a varsity letter for cheerleading.
I thought you were actually cheerleading,
Yeah, you
like
did.
doing backflips and twirls. I was like, Dave, you gotta see something.
They put me up in a pyramid one time. I was cheering.
Really?
I knew the dances and stuff. Yeah, I could not flip.
But do you have pictures?
I had
do you have pictures?
A giant lion.
Because if you don't have pictures, then it didn't happen.
I have plenty of pictures. But I 100, to your point, Rose, 100% respect the athleticism that goes into this. And I mean, it's also so dangerous. I mean, they really, wouldn't think they put their lives on the line, which is crazy to think. It's a high school sport, and you could
this is college. This is college stunting.
Oh, right.
I was also a cheerleader too. Shameless plug.
What?
I was a 2-time All-American, and I know what I was a 2-time All-American and cheered at the Pro Bowl twice. However, the stunts.
Wait, what? Whoa!
I don't think I knew that about you.
I did not know that either. You can't just gloss past that, Rose. That's not a minor detail. You just breeze over.
Rose, were you a flyer?
We'll talk about it later. I was a base and a flyer.
Okay.
I was both. I was able to do both. But the thing is, the things that we did when I was doing all of that does not even hold a candle to the amazing agility and athleticism that is required to do just the most basic things, the things that are considered basic today. Mm-hmm. Layer that, the athleticism, the mental capacity that you need to compete in any sport, let alone cheerleading, on top of their individual stories, on top of the drama, on top of the pressure, on top of everything else. All of that combined, compelling stories, just it really, really pulls you in, which is why I could not sleep on this show and why you shouldn't either. Watch season 1. I highly recommend starting with season 1 to understand the drama and the follow-up to season 2. But if you just wanted to jump into season 2 right now, they do a great job of catching you up to just to get right back into the story. Don't sleep on Cheer. Do not sleep on Cheer. Period. Okay. My next one was Selling Sunset. Exactly. But okay, my next one was Selling Sunset, which completely opposite. But to me, I love things about who tell things about stories, what goes on behind the scenes. These are beautiful people selling real estate, but it's so much more than that, about their personal lives, about what drives them. The story of Chriselle, if you've been under a rock, it's okay. Her and Justin Hartley had a little falling out, which played into the show. I mean, I had to see the follow-up to that. And then, of course, there's I can't remember. I think her name is Christine. I love to hate her, but I think I more love her because she knows her role. She knows her role as the villain. And I think that's why I love her even more. So with that said, Don't sleep on Selling Sunset too. It may be beautiful people selling real estate, but it's so much more. And another final note, fun fact, if you love the stylistic produced look and storytelling of The Hills, Adam DeVello executive produced The Hills and also executive produced Selling Sunset. You won't be disappointed. Don't
Fun
sleep on it.
fact.
Nice.
Guam, what
I never
are
knew what the show was about. But now I know.
Yeah, I didn't either, but I've heard so many people who watch it for sure.
Same.
Quam, what are the shows that you're not sleeping on these days?
Okay, so a little background. I rewatched Game of Thrones probably a million times, and I don't know, I'm like a huge rerun junkie. But it came to a point where I was like, I can't keep rewatching this show. I got to move on. I got to move forward. And I was looking for the next best thing. And so I've heard a lot about The Witcher on Netflix, and I know that it had a season 2 come out. So I was like, okay, this seems like a good time to start this show. And to my disappointment, it was nothing like Game of Thrones. But that might have been a good thing because it's still a really amazing show. It's nothing like Game of Thrones. Like, don't go into it thinking it's like Game of Thrones. The only thing's the same is like the fact that it's like
your
old
setup,
medieval.
Quam.
No, I was like super disappointed, but I was like so excited when I started getting into the show and seeing how like it's like like an adventure show with like just like awesome characters and magic and creatures in this mystical land, and it kind of like jumps from different time periods, so you really have to like stay focused because you can get lost super easy, but it just like adds to the intrigue once you start seeing like characters meet up with other characters from different time periods, and these timelines start to like interwove and get connected. It's like, whoa, my mind is just like all over the wall right now. And it was such an amazing ride that like I started it at like maybe like 10 o'clock, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch like 2 episodes. And then before I knew it, I was like 6 episodes deep, and I'm like, it's 3 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. I need to go to sleep. And it was one of the shows that kept me up because it kept me engaged, and I was just so enthralled with the show. Henry Cavill as like a magical badass. I did not know I needed that in my life because I saw him as Superman and didn't know that like, I needed him in another role like that. So I was so pleased. Not initially because I thought it was gonna be Game of Thrones, but when I found out it wasn't and found out what it was, I was so pleased. I was happy.
It's funny that you say that because you're not the first person that has shared with me that they haven't slept because they stayed up to watch The Witcher. No lie. So I guess there's something to be said about The Witcher. Maybe I gotta see it now.
If you love action and magic, it's like the perfect combination because like you get some awesome sword fights, you get some like really cool like mystical stuff. Like this is one episode where I think it's still in season 1, but where Henry Cavill's like fighting like this crypt monster. And it's like such an amazing battle. I'm just like, whoa, this is like really great. It was so good. It was so good. So I was like super excited for that. And yeah, it kept me up all night. What also kept me up all night was Peacemaker, the new show from HBO Max. So I was like kind of on the fence about watching it. So I was like a few episodes deep, before I started watching it. So I was like, all right, I got some episodes to catch up on, so I might as well just start watching it now. And I did not expect to be such a great show. Like John Cena is so much fun. It's like his charisma really comes through on the show as Peacemaker. And it's doing me proud as an old wrestling fan to see like John Cena like now become like an actual like bona fide actor, and seeing how far he's come. Like, I remember like when he first came out with the movie The Marine way back in like 2006 or 2005. Yeah, David, and to see him in this role, I'm like, John, you're doing my heart so well, man. Like I love it. I love it. And the show is so much fun. It's so much fun. It has so much great action. It's super violent, but also super funny. And it's like everything I want in a superhero show. So definitely kept me up all night catching up on it.
And that opening credit sequence.
Oh yeah, where they're all just like
dancing,
getting into it.
Pop and lock?
Choreography.
What are they doing?
They are popping and locking.
Yeah,
they are popping and locking.
Hey, David, didn't you interview John Cena for this too, right?
Not only did I interview John Cena for that, but I interviewed the entire cast of The Witcher for that as well. So really great plugs For my hangouts with the cast of The Witcher and Peacemaker, just say "hang out with David" into your voice remote to watch them now.
Shameless plug.
But it's funny, Kwam. Before I interviewed the cast of The Witcher, I had not watched the show. I hadn't seen it, and they gave me the first few episodes of the new season. So I watched 12 hours of The Witcher in a weekend. And
that's impressive.
It was a lot. I mean, I was up late, I was up early, I just watched the whole thing.
How long are
12
the
hours a weekend.
episodes?
An
They're
hour.
hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was 10 from the first season and 2 from the new season. But they're both really good picks, Quan. Like, you're right. Peacemaker is so kind of unexpected. And it's funny because, like, John Cena, when you're talking about him being an actor, when like The Rock left wrestling to go be an actor, like John Cena took some nice little shots at The Rock, saying like, "I'll never be Hollywood. Like WWE will always be my home. I'm not going to be an actor wrestler. I'm a wrestler. This is what I'm going to do." And now John Cena doesn't wrestle anymore. He's just an actor. So he took a lot of shots at The Rock, but I mean, who's to say that he won't be back? But that's what The Rock did too. He came back every once in a while, but I think this suits John Cena.
Has John Cena eaten his words since then? Do we know?
He has not. I'm not going to be the one to try and make him eat his words either. Like, I'm not going to mess with that.
Imagine trying to tell him like, "Yo, you gotta come back now. You gotta double back on what you said."
Yeah, seriously. So to check out the shows we just discussed, just say what to watch into your voice remote. And next up, we roll out the red carpet for this year's hottest musicians in a segment called Collections Corner. The 64th Annual Grammy Awards were originally scheduled to take place this Monday, January 31st, but due to health and safety concerns around the Omicron variant of COVID, the ceremony has been bumped to April 3rd. But that doesn't mean we can't still celebrate this year's nominees and hand out a few mock awards while we wait. And we just happen to have our music editor and expert Kwam here to tell us how you can explore the Grammys at home anytime. What do you got for us, Quab?
Yes, thank you, David. Well, as David said, yes, the Grammys were pushed back till April, but let's still talk about the nominees because we have so many awesome categories, so many awesome nominees that we can just talk about and discuss. Olivia Rodrigo, she is such a big artist right now, and so it's pretty apparent why she was nominated for so many categories, such as Best New Artist, Song of the Year, Album of the Year, Record of the Year. And if you don't know the difference between Song of the Year and Record of the Year, like I didn't, apparently it all comes down to like songwriting. So like Song of the Year is more for like the songwriters, and then Record of the Year is more for like everyone else involved, like the producer, the artist themselves, if they're the songwriter or not the songwriter. So Record of the Year is more of the encompassing, while Song of the Year is more like, oh, this is for a well-written song. But as David mentioned, I want to get into or at least my picks for how I think are going to be the best of these categories, starting with the Best New Artist. And so with the Best New Artist, I think we got to like take in a lot of things into account. So one, your popularity, how well you started out, what are you bringing new to the table into the music space, and with all those things considered, I think these two artists are really the top two. There's a lot of honorable mentions, such as Phineas, whose album I love. Phineas, he's the brother to Billie Eilish. Japanese Breakfast, she's a real awesome indie artist, and just really starting to become really big. Arlo Parks and so many others like Saweetie and Kid Laroi. But between Baby Keem and Olivia Rodrigo, I feel like these two had the strongest year and kind of making a splash on the scene. Baby Keem, he's mostly known for being Kendrick Lamar's cousin, but his created his own path within hip hop music and creating his own sound. He's known for the top of the morning meme that's been going around TikTok. And I think Olivia Rodrigo does not need any introduction because she probably had one of the bigger years ever we've seen from a new artist. But before I reveal my pick, I want to get y'all's opinions of these two selections. And who do you think I should have chosen if not these two?
You go first, David.
I was today years old when I heard the name Baby Keem. I've never heard of this person before. I have absolutely no idea who this person is.
David, what?
What could I
I've done you a disservice.
I've never heard of this person before.
This is my apologies. I'll take that back to myself, and I'll make sure you're well acquainted with Baby Keem's music after this.
Thank you.
But he's a nice hip hop artist. Has a really unique voice. It sounds like a baby's voice almost in a way, but like it's so his music's so creative, and it's like his production that he puts into his music is so amazing, and he does a lot of the producing himself. So that's why I had to choose him. Rose.
Well, I mean, you know that I love Olivia Rodrigo, so that would be my pick. I don't know what you're thinking.
Well, I wasn't even going to ask you for your pick about who you thought. I just wanted to get your opinion because I knew you were going to pick. I knew you were going to pick Olivia Rodrigo.
I mean, I'm gonna go with David. Olivia Rodrigo had such a big year. 2 #1 hits on Billboard's Top 100 with Driver's License and Good For You. She's everywhere. I feel like my measuring stick, though, is if my mom has heard of it, then it has reached, like, it's past a certain threshold that if this person, place, thing has to be recognized. So I'm going with Olivia.
Well, that is definitely a good metric. You know, like if you start saying your parents are listening to this song or they know this person, then that definitely is a good metric. But you know, me, Kwam, the music editor, I am dripping in objectivity, so I gotta keep it real. The selection is Olivia Rodrigo.
All right.
Nice. Yes, it has to be Olivia Rodrigo because you know, like you both said, she's had such an amazing year that it could not be her. So you know, I think she was the obvious answer for this choice, this category, and I think she'll actually win it within the actual Grammy Awards as well too, because again, 2 #1s, a #1 album, an album that's also nominated for Album of the Year. You couldn't ask for a better start for being a new artist. So Olivia Rodrigo is the option for Best New Artist.
And isn't there a poll that's up now?
There is a poll.
Audiences at home to vote too.
You can use your voice remote to vote and pick who you think is going to win the Grammy. Or, you know, if you've never heard of Baby Keem either, vote for Olivia Rodrigo. But maybe you have, and then you can vote for him. It's up to you. But use the direction pad and the enter key and vote. Vote as many times as you want for Olivia Rodrigo. Don't vote at all for Baby Keem. Whatever you want to do. Right now, Olivia's up. Olivia's leading. Is leading, but Kwam, no, you do have to introduce me to some Baby Keem so that I know what I'm talking about because I've never heard of this guy.
Oh my gosh, yes, I am definitely doing you a disservice then. But he wouldn't be a new artist if you didn't know about
introduction to Baby. Wait, what's an introduction song that you would recommend to David and not only
to Baby to the Baby Keem? Introductory song. My personal favorite song from Baby Keem, and one of my favorite songs of last year was Family Ties. It was a hard-hitting hip-hop song that gets you like amped, especially when you're like in the gym. You're just like ready to go. You know, like there's like really like triumphant horns, and he has one of my favorite catchphrases of that from that song of the year, which is "Jump in That Fire." It has like so many different meanings and metaphors you can use for it. So, Family Ties. Also, the song "Range Brothers," the song that kind of went viral for that top of the morning meme, David, that you probably saw like going around like Twitter and TikTok a while back. But I would say either Family Ties or Range Brothers, both which feature Kendrick Lamar.
Check it out. All right,
definitely check it out.
What else you got? What else you got for us?
So moving on to the next category, we're looking at Album of the Year, and again, there's a lot of albums that I could have chosen. There's so many honorable mentions between Olivia Rodrigo's "Sour," which I really loved. I thought it was like such a great first effort from a new artist. Doja Cat's "Planet Her," such an awesome just like pop record. You know, it has like so many bops, and like as you can see, like she's still like littered throughout the Hot 100 from songs from that album. Between like Woman, the song with The Weeknd. I'm drawing a blank on right now. Need to Know, and then obviously Kiss Me More, which was like one of my favorite songs of last year, and then also Taylor Swift's Evermore. Personally, I'm not a big Taylor Swift fan, but that album was like something, something to behold. It was like a nice, step in a different direction for Taylor, especially like following up that Folklore album that she released prior. But my two favorite albums of the year were Happier Than Ever by Billie Eilish, because I am a Billie Eilish stan, and Kanye West Donda, because I am a Kanye West stan. So I had to choose these two heavyweights. Billie Eilish's album, I thought it was a good follow up to her debut album. It went in a different direction. And it's like leaving me wanting more from Billie in her, will be her junior effort, whatever follows Happier Than Ever. And apparently she's recording new music. So I'm really excited to see what comes out of her from this next album from her. But Happier Than Ever was such a great second effort. And then Donda, oh my gosh. When I say this was like a transcendent experience for me, it was so amazing. Like, the album can get you so emotional with some of the deeper cuts where it's like so heartfelt, and it's so just it just brings the feels, it brings the feels, and like the instrumentation, the production is all top notch. I was so impressed with what Kanye did here. And it's a gospel album. And I never thought I would be talking about a gospel album like this, but leave it to Kanye to make me gush over a gospel album. And it doesn't ever feel like too overbearing either. So it's just a really great listen. But again, I want to get y'all's thoughts. I'll start with Rose this time.
So I was gonna go with Billie Eilish's Happier Than Ever, because Sophomore Slump, like, she's amazing. I loved every single song that came out of that. But you make really good points, Kwam, about Kanye that I never really thought to think of in that way. And now I think I might want to go with Kanye, but I'll just stick with my gut, my first choice. I'll go with Happier Than Ever, but I might regret it later. So that's my answer. David, what do you think?
Kanye is leading in the poll right now, and Kwam, am I mistaken? But I thought that I had heard that Donda didn't get great reviews when it first came out.
Well, listen, and to that point, yeah. A lot of Kanye's albums don't get great reviews when they first come out, and then like 5 to 10 years later, they're like, "Oh my God, this was like a magnum opus. This was the greatest thing. He transformed music." So, like, to like an album that is not really being liked in the moment, this means you're a trailblazer and you're ahead of the curve. So,
that's fair. That was a solid answer. I mean,
that was a really good answer.
I'll never go out of my way to give Kanye anything, so I'm just going to give Billie Eilish. But
whoa, hater!
I'll take it. Why not?
Well, Kanye is up in the polls right now, and rightfully so, because he is in fact has the album of the year. Donda, like I said, it was such a great album, such a heartfelt album, and like I think he really just expressed so many different emotions on this album, and just was vulnerable. And not just the album itself, but even the lead up to it. There was so much like promotional concerts and stuff that were coming out of it, that if you ever watch some of the live streams, there were like experiences. And then when you see it, like how he has the vision for his music, it just like takes it to a whole nother level. And again, I cannot stress this enough, but the production, phenomenal. All the guest appearances, phenomenal. And they even stay like on track of what the song's about. Oftentimes you see artists come into a song and really like contribute nothing to what the song's like message is, but it felt like every artist really was like on topic and on theme for whatever song that they came in. So for all those reasons and more, Donda is the album of the year for Kwam.
Love it.
And lastly, but certainly not least, we have Record of the Year. And again, so many honorable mentions in this category. We had Doja Cat's Kiss Me More. We had Justin Bieber's Peaches, which I was unexpectedly really loving. And so many other great songs from this year. But my two personal favorite were "Leave the Door Open" by Silk Sonic, just a sexy R&B song that takes it back to like this like soul roots, and then Olivia Rodrigo's "Driver's License," which I was so reluctant to like because everyone was like like just gushing over it, but then you start listening to it, it's like, oh, this is actually a really good song. This is actually a really great song. The songwriting is so heartfelt, and I I was surprised about the production. Like if you listen to it, that's on like your phone or just like on like normal speakers. I don't know if you can really hear some of like the deep instrumentation that's going on in the background. But if you listen to it like in your headphones or like on some like really nice speakers, you can hear like this drony bass sound coming as in towards the end of like each chorus. This like takes the song to a whole nother level and just like adds like another layer of like just emotional impact. But again, as I said, for the last two, I want to get y'all's opinion. David, I'm gonna start with you because I already know where you're gonna go with this, but maybe you'll surprise me.
No, you don't know where I'm going with this. My pick is Silk Sonic, Leave the Door Open.
Whoa.
Because I think musically, I don't love Driver's License. I like Olivia Rodrigo.
Wow.
I don't love Driver's License, but there's something about that opening to Leave the Door Open, that like musical, I don't even know what instruments it is, but like you said, it's just like so sexy and smooth and just a beautiful song. And it's one of those that like I'll never turn off when it comes on. So that is my pick, like 100%. I'm not even doing it to like to surprise.
I feel like you're trolling me. I
pick.
feel like you're trying to troll me right now because I was so expecting you to pick Driver's License.
Me too. I had my popcorn ready because I wanted you two to duke it out. I mean, I was ready, and then David, golly, 180.
The piano, the dun 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 dun, like
it's
just
so good. It's good.
Awesome. It's a really good song.
It was so unexpected too, because it was like, who would have thought that Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak would have come together to make like this super song? And why? I didn't know I needed it, but when I got it, I was like, I need this now. I need an album. I was so unexpected, just like as unexpected as your answer, to be honest.
Yeah. Rose.
Like, dang it, y'all are making me question my choices today. I'm still sticking with Olivia Rodrigo because I cannot, between all of the songs that are nominated, I cannot get that out of my brain. I find myself humming it, singing it, just random times throughout the day because it's so, that's how impactful it is. And I felt in the social zeitgeist, that's how impactful it was to everyone else too, which is, those are the reasons why I went with that one. But dang it, so unexpected from you, David. I literally was like, I can't wait till they duke it out.
I know you brought props and everything. You brought your props.
Everything. And food, there's food in here because I am hungry. And I was hoping
I'm also actual popcorn
to eat. Anyways,
but Rose, that's not a bad answer either, because like Driver's License really took like the whole music landscape by storm, and I think it had a lot to do with like the background behind the song. But then it also just so happened to be a really good song. So not a bad selection at all either.
Just final note before we go to the polls to see what you at home, who you thought and who you voted for. But for me, if you really strip it down just to her voice, even if you didn't know the background, you could feel the pain, the emotion in just her vocals alone, which like that's what really moved me.
And so this might be a surprise to everyone watching, because I thought I was going to choose Leave the Door Open too. But in preparation for this very moment, I listened to both songs back and forth. And I was like, oh my God, am I doing this? Driver's License is the record of the year. I cannot. I was so surprised because I was like, maybe because I got like Leave the Door Open fatigue because I've heard it so many times compared to like Driver's License. But just like musically, it's record. The Driver's License is so beautiful, from the instrumentation, for what I even mentioned before, just like the small little nuggets of like just deep production. And then, as Rose, as you mentioned, the lyrics and her voice is so heartfelt. And I think that's what really takes it over the top, because it's one thing to sing a song, but when you're like performing a song as if like this is really what you're feeling and going through, it takes the song to a whole nother level. And I think that's what really comes through on Driver's License. And the song is so relatable because it's like, man, we all had that one breakup. We all had that one situation where we were going through, and I couldn't deny it. And maybe it's because I'm going through something right now too that maybe I chose Driver's License, but I couldn't deny it. Record of the year, Driver's License, and also it was just a bigger song too. Like, we're being real, it was just a bigger song.
But wait, who's leading? Who's leading in the poll?
Who's leading?
Silk
Sonic. Wow.
Whoa.
So I'm 1 for 3, I guess, with the people at home, but I'm dripping in objectivity, and y'all are subjective. So my answers are like the definitive answers here. So, but if you want to see more of the nominations and more nominees and just more stuff from the Grammys, you can just say Grammys into your voice remote and get to see all the other nominations and other stuff that has to deal with the Grammys.
True story. And next up, something foul is afoot, and it could be murder in a segment called Editor's Picks.
I had Cheetos in there. I didn't have.
Today, Netflix dropped a brand new miniseries entitled The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window, which stars Kristen Bell as a lonely woman who thinks she witnessed a murder next door. The series is the latest in a string of shows that offer a comedic spin on the murder mystery genre, and I've compiled some of these shows in a row called Killing Me Softly, crime shows with sense of humor. So you can just say dark stuff into your voice remote, and you'll find this hilarious and gruesome collection of shows, including The Flight Attendant, Killing Eve, Barry, Guilty Party, Dead to Me, and many more. And we thought we'd look at some of our favorite hilarious murder shows. And my favorite just happens to be a series called Search Party. Let's take a quick look at a clip.
We are trying to accomplish something that has never been done before. To sell enlightenment?
I'm with you.
Me too.
Let's do this.
This is the revolution.
You sound crazy.
I'm devoted.
Things are going to get rocky. They might try to stop us.
What you believe is not reality.
But they can never take away our light.
Dory is not well. You are in great danger.
You know what's coming? Total annihilation!
So that was a clip from season 5. But the series itself begins as a group of obnoxious and unlikable 20-somethings set out to locate an old college acquaintance named Chantel Witherbottom. Little did they know their journey would uncover a path of lies, betrayal, and murder. The 5th and final season of Search Party, which you just saw the clip from, dropped on HBO Max earlier this month. And seasons 1 and 5 both boast a 100% score on Rotten Tomatoes, while seasons 2 through 4 rank in the 90s. It's kind of crazy that a series 5 seasons deep has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's dark and weird and hilarious and plays a lot more like an indie film than a series that originally premiered on TBS, which it was. But it's gotten even darker since it's moved over to HBO Max, and I highly, highly recommend it. Rose, what do you have for us?
So I don't know if those of you home know, but I like murder is not my thing. Even like murder comedy, or maybe, but like the true crime stuff, not my bag of tricks. But I did really enjoy Only Murders in the Building. I have 3 fun facts about this, but let's take a look at the clip first.
I can't stop thinking about this.
Neither can I.
We should do our own true crime podcast.
We're gonna go down there and look around for clues. You wanna come?
Do I want to break into a dead guy's apartment and go through all his shit? Sounds like an afternoon.
Right now, the only thing that matters is that there's a killer on the loose in our building.
Oh, that is a very good line. Badly delivered, but a good line.
I think we're onto something big here.
And these are...
Candid photos I took of our neighbors?
Why are they all selfies?
So I don't draw suspicion. so hot in here. Do we have to do this in a closet?
The acoustics are better. And trust me, you need acoustics.
I'm gonna pass out.
First fun fact about this is one of Hulu's most watched series. So that should tell you something. I love the storytelling about this. It's just fun. New York is also a big part of it. It plays a character in it. It's about 3 people who live in an apartment building or a condo co-op situation in New York City that you would never think would be paired together, but they are because of a murder in the building. And they want to do a podcast around it too. And all of the hijinks that ensues and their backstories are really funny. But fun fact too, so Steve Martin plays a concertina while he's doing a voiceover for the podcast in the show. And he actually plays the concertina and the many other instruments. He's very accomplished in the banjo. And I thought that was really interesting too. Tina Fey makes an appearance. If you're fans of Tina Fey, she plays like a character of a podcast within the show, which is fun. And the first episodes alone, I feel really speak to what's happening now. We don't have a lot of shared experiences because if you've watched a show and I haven't, and you want to tell me about it, or we want to talk about it, and you're like, oh, have you watched this? And I say no, it's like, oh, it's good, you should. But this goes into and addresses that situation too. And I thought that's really funny. It's just the way they have the show and they put the show together. I feel like I'm saying show a lot, but just watch it. From someone who's not into true crime and murders, this would probably be my gateway show to get into it. My fun fact 3, because I told you I had 3 fun facts, is that many people think Steve Martin was an original cast member of SNL, but he wasn't. He just guest hosted a lot of times. Second highest next to Alec Baldwin. But in either case, this is a great cast. Steve Martin, Martin Short, Selena Gomez. I wanted to find out who done it. And this is a really good show, even if you're like a mild murders situation. So yeah, that's that. Who's next?
Nice. Quam's next. What do you got, Quam?
So my favorite show that's dealing with comedy and murder is obviously You. I think this is one of the shows that kind of got me into this kind of like genre of, thriller, mystery, comedy, because You was just so hilarious. But let's just take a look at a clip and I'll get to my thoughts about You.
For you, I'd move to some soulless suburb.
Come latte with us.
For you, I'd marry the monster your mother loved. What could go wrong?
We both have done bad things. I wanted to move here so that we could start new.
We're just the nice, normal neighbors next door. We are a team.
The best team. Something's going on. You're always distracted.
Are you okay? You look paler than usual.
And so if you somehow never seen You, I will give you a quick synopsis. Joe is just your average, ordinary guy looking for love, but he just can't stop killing people in the name of love. Sometimes quite literally. And the show is just like absolutely ridiculous because like Joe will get himself into these situations and you're just like wondering like, okay, how does he get himself out of it at this point? And somehow he does. It's always like semi-believable. You're like, okay, I can believe this. I can roll with this. And while at times it starts to feel like, okay, the same thing's happening, it just hooks you back in because one, the character playing Joe, I forget his name right now, he's just really likable. I don't know, maybe it's his voice that's like entrancing me, but he's just really, really good at narrating the show and keeping you hooked. And I just like him as a character. And there's so many likable characters throughout the show, even if you're not supposed to like them. And how often do you get to really like enjoy and like and sympathize with a psychopath? So for all those reasons and more, You is one of my favorite Killing Me Softly shows.
Nice. Well, again, just say dark stuff into your voice remote to check out the shows we just talked about. And before we go, it's time to organize your TV watch list with a segment called Plan Ahead. This week's premieres include the return of a superpowered child, new adventures with our favorite foul-mouthed fourth graders, a mini-series about the OG Kim and Ray J, and Journey Back to Kepler 22b. I knew I'd get Kwam with that one. And Kwam is here to tell us all about it. Take it away.
Thanks, David. The second season of Netflix's superhero family drama, Raising Dion, is set to return in February. This series is centered around a single mother named Nicole who is raising her son, Dion, after her husband's mysterious death. However, her son isn't an ordinary boy, as he's been gifted with supernatural abilities. Nicole must now keep her son's powers a secret and protect him against those who would exploit him, while also working to figure out the origins of his powers. Raising Dion comes back to Netflix on Tuesday, February 1st. The iconic, long-running animated sitcom South Park is set to return for its 25th season. If you've somehow never seen South Park, it's a satirical comedy series that follows the exploits of a group of 4th grade boys named Stan, Kyle, Cartman, and Kenny. Their adventures are set in a dysfunctional town of South Park and range from the fairly typical to the supernatural and downright absurd. Known for its crude language, over-the-top violence, and polarizing topics, South Park has cemented its place in TV history. The 25th season of South Park is set to kick off on Wednesday, February 2nd on Comedy Central. Also returning on February 2nd is the reality television show Celebrity Big Brother. The show features a group of celebrities, known as house guests, who move into a house together. The contestants must then compete against each other for power and safety and then vote to eliminate or evict one of their fellow housemates. At the end of the season, previously eliminated contestants then vote on who they think should ultimately win. The third season of Celebrity Big Brother will air on Wednesday, February 2nd on CBS. February 2nd must be a really good day to premiere shows because Hulu's mini drama series, Pam and Tommy, is also set to air on that date. The biographical drama follows the real-life events of actress Pamela Anderson and Motley Crue drummer Tommy Lee, who famously got married after only knowing each other for 96 hours, or 4 days for those who can't do math. This miniseries, which was produced by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, deals with the aftermath of the couple's home movie being released to the public and how it affected both parties. Pam and Tommy will be coming to Hulu on February 2nd. Lastly, HBO Max's sci-fi drama series, Raised by Wolves, will be returning for its second season. Raised by Wolves is set in a distant future and is centered around 2 androids who are tasked with raising 6 children on another planet after war has seemingly destroyed Earth. However, the task proves to be very difficult as complications soon arise.
And this week's finales feature farewells to everyone's favorite teen detective, a horde of Australian vampires, as well as Carrie, Miranda, and Charlotte. Rose, what do you got for us?
The CW, or as I like to call it, the network of beautiful people, takes Nancy Drew to a whole new level. The fate of Horseshoe Bay rests on the Drew crew. Watch what happens on the season finale, January 28th. Fun fact about this next show, the letters RSTLNE were popular choices for so many years, the producers decided to automatically include them as choices for a bonus spin. Watch celebrities choose a vowel for charity on the season finale of Celebrity Wheel of Fortune on ABC Sunday, January 30th. Executive produced by Lorne Michaels and Kenan Thompson, both of SNL fame, Kenan is NBC's comedy about a single dad juggling 2 daughters, a morning show, a live-in father-in-law, a brother, and so much more. Watch the season finale Monday, January 31st on NBC. Looking for something with a little more bite? Well, Firebite, an Australian import about 2 people on their quest to battle the last colony of vampires, wraps up its first season on AMC Plus, February 3rd. And just like that, our time with Carrie, Charlotte, and Miranda comes to an end. The follow-up to an iconic series has been polarizing, but whether you loved seeing these characters come back to life or miss the old gang, including Samantha, I can't help but wonder, will I enjoy how the series ends? Let's find out together as, and just like that, airs its final episode Thursday, February 3rd.
And if that's not enough for you, looking further out, we've got Amazon Prime's Jack Reacher. Amazon Prime's Jack Reacher series entitled Reacher, premiering on February 4th. Season 2 of the Netflix drama Sweet Magnolias dropping on February 4th. And the brand new Power spinoff Power Book 4 Force premiering on Starz on February 6th. And that will do it for today's show. Huge thanks to my fellow Xfinity editors Rose and Quam for joining me today. And if you want to check out the TV shows and movies we talked about today, get more of our entertainment recommendations, or watch us interview big celebrities, just say what to watch into your voice remote, or tune in here every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern for a new episode. My name is David. Thank you for joining us on What to Watch Live.
Bye.